Welcome to Q&A session for the film Love Child. Author Eva Mulvad is with us. I wish you a virtual welcome to our festival. Thank you for this great film. How did you find this story?
Well, I did the film together with two other directors, and one of them is a man, Danish guy called Morten, who actually knew the husband of the family from a trip he did to Iran many years ago, and they kept in contact. They met in the bazaar, where Sahandu, the husband in the family, was appointed from the Secret Service to kind of chat up tourists and find out what their trip was all about. So they met in this weird circumstance, and when the family decided to escape from Iran, they contacted Morten and asked him to follow their story because they felt it would be more secure for them if somebody had an eye on them. So that's the background. And they came to me and after 1 year of shooting and presented some raw material. So I joined the project 1 year in the process.
Great. First scene sets the tone for the film when Sahandu is saying, "I don't know if I will be alive tomorrow." And then they left everything behind in Iran. What was it like for them to leave and for many?
Well, I guess you never know exactly what will happen when you're in a situation like theirs. They prepared as good as they could. I know that it was very sad, especially for Leila, the mother. She had a very close, big family, and she knew that she would have very limited access to them after leaving. I mean, now they live in a neighboring country, but they can't go visit. So it's a big loss for them, relationship-wise. And when I met them in the outskirts of Istanbul, they had like a home and they got each other, which was why they left. They wanted to live together, which was impossible for them in Iran. But it was also clear to me that they were lacking the bigger family and the relations around them.
Yeah, we can see that also in the film. You were filming for almost 6 years. How often during those 6 years would you be there with them?
Well, it varied a bit. Some years we went there quite often. It was, we did follow their asylum seeking process with the UN system. So every time something new happened in that process, we would go. And sometimes it would be on very short notice because, I mean, the system works this way that they send an email and suddenly there's some decisions or news or they are called into an interview. So we had to go some years, maybe 10 times, and other years we did only go for one or two times. So we just try to gather as much of the relevant material as possible.
Did you fear what will happen during their process, considering their story, protagonist story, Sahan's political past, and their destiny, I mean, their love story in Iran?
Yes, you mean security-wise?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, they're very aware of that themselves. They were kind of experts in security. And I didn't know, because I haven't lived in Iran, I don't know how it works, that system. So we kept we kept listening to them and tried to follow their decisions. And we had some experts as well reviewing the film in the end to kind of make sure that there was not any security issues that would be problematic for them. But I mean, we never know how these more or less totalitarian systems work. So as it is a very intimate, small story in a way, it's the story of one little family. I always felt that they kind of had the control of their kind of small universe. It's not a big story about the politics of Iran, so I felt that in that aspect they would be more. It would be what I was fearing was like comments or reactions from close families towards their relatives in Iran.
In one moment in the film, Leila said to Mani, people who want a better life have to go through hard times. Do you think they found a better life? How are they today?
Well, in some ways they did. They did find a better life because they are able to live together as a family. And that was one of their main issues in Iran, that they would have to live separately. But there's one thing that is so difficult for them, and that is like the basic rights that they they don't have like a citizenship anywhere. They still live in Turkey. They still have like they have a work permission which gives them some basic rights, but not it only they only have these rights as long as they work. So I know that it's a really tough thing for them that they have not been able to secure their son Mani's future and stable, secure ground to build upon.
I doubt that films like these come to eyes and hearts of hardcore anti-migrant activists, but what do you think how films like Love Child affect on regular Europeans that are maybe afraid from refugees, from everyday rhetoric, media reports? Can films like this change minds and open hearts?
I guess we have to believe so. I did make this film because I started to feel numb myself. We in around like 2015, when we had the big refugee crisis, you kind of heard the same news repeating over and over again, and it felt like there was nobody taking responsibility. There was nobody helping out, and all those European communities were kind of, except from Sweden and Germany, we don't want to have responsibilities. So my analysis of that is like, I think that documentary films, because we use more time and we come deeper into the topics and we give them a human face. So my hope is that you would kind of try to put yourself in their shoes and think how it would be if you had to escape. And for me, I think they are very likable. They are very easy to understand. And that should give an open door to many people, also those who might not want to think about the refugees in a more empathic way.
Yeah, their story could happen actually to anyone. You also have said in one interview that the refugee crisis is the issue of our times. It's striking that it continues to be a problem. If we had the politicians who wanted to solve it, it would be solvable. But we see the laws becoming even more strict around the world, bureaucracy rules going wild in Europe and United States. Do you see it end in any way?
Well, right now we are very concerned with different issues, right? So I don't think there's any politicians who will actually take responsibility right now, because there's so much about the coronavirus that leaves them with their hands full. But we can hope that the wind might change, and that we shouldn't give up giving these people our attention. And their life is not easy for them to live a regular life in these kind of. And this family is even better off than many refugees. Those who live in camps and have those kind of really horrible daily circumstances. But no, it doesn't look like that's going to be a priority for the near future.
Yeah. During our festival, we also organize different trainings for young people from the region who are interested in making documentary films. So I would like to ask you, is there any advice you would like to give them for the end of our conversation?
Well, I mean, I think it's important to use your curiosity. Not think too much about what is a good story, because I think it's our branch, the documentary branch, we kind of need to expand our story, our capability of telling stories that are not journalistic. I think it's important to hear a big range of different aspects on life, like we can do when we go into literature and we read books about small and big things. And I think that is, for me, the most interesting things happening in documentary business right now, is that we have to expand, and I like to watch films that kind of give me a different angle. That's not just another usual suspects documentary. So that would be what I would like to see.
Very good advice. So thank you so much for being here with us. We hope to see you someday in Sarajevo at our festival in physical form. Our guest was Eva Mulva, the author of the film Love Child. Thank you so much.